Namaste, what's up? It's Yogi Ev here coming at you with another episode of Evan Talks. Thanks for coming to this episode. We have a lot to cover tonight. I'm going to wrap up my crypto in-depth series tonight with a quick rundown of the week in crypto. I'm going to touch back on that USI Tech scam that I covered in depth in last week's episode. If you missed that episode, there'll be a link to that in the description of this video. Check it out. We're also going to loop back and do a little bit more on cloud mining and HASHFLARE, and that's the first episode that I covered. There'll be a link to that episode as well, so you can catch up on all of that. And then I'm going to go to Quora, where occasionally I answer some questions, and somebody asked a question on Quora the other day that I'm going to cover here in this episode. Okay, starting next week, we're going to be on different topics. I might do a very quick segment on Rundown in Crypto, but this will be the last full episode on crypto. Next week, we're going to move on to another topic. It's going to be my long-awaited review of CBD websites. So if you use CBD oil or if you're interested in CBD, I have a lot of expertise in that, and I'm going to be sharing a lot of insights on that, so you don't want to miss that next week. So let's get right into the content today. First thing I'm going to do is a quick rundown of the week in crypto. Now, what you're not going to see me doing here every week is going to be like, this is what happened in crypto, and do a complete rundown of all the coins and what's up and what's down, because like I covered last week, the market day-to-day in crypto is highly volatile, and I'm going to show you two charts right now that are going to basically demonstrate this to you. Now, we're looking here on CoinMarketCap, and we see the global total market capitalization for crypto in the last week. And you'll notice here that these numbers go up and down and up and down. It's highly volatile, but check this out. If you look at a week ago, at the beginning of the chart, the total market cap was right around 556 billion. And then it goes up, down, sideways, in and out, twists around, blah, blah, blah. At the end of the chart right now, we're looking at 563 billion. It's effectively unchanged week to week, even though day to day it completely changes. Okay, let's go over to Coinbase and look at the Bitcoin price. Right now it's sitting about 11,425. A week ago it was at 11,549. Now it's at the end of this chart, and it's about 11,462. So you see what I'm saying? Day to day, this is going to be up and down, sideways, in and out. Week to week, month to month, it's going to be more stable, right? Not always the same. It's obviously going to go up, down, whatever. But what I decided to do this week is just hands off my crypto and focus on other stuff. And what I noticed is that if I would have sold a bunch of my coins last week, I might have been able to make a little bit more money. Now it looks like I'm down or about even in a lot of the portfolio coins that I showed you in last week's episode. But for me, I'm kind of in the coins that I'm in now. I actually dumped all my blue coin last week and I put it all into red coin. Red coin's down a couple of points, but I'm in for the long haul, which means I'm hodling, holding on for dear life for the coins that I have now, and I'm just going to hold for week to week to week and kind of see what happens. I'm not freaking out trying to make little gains in a day or trying to do this crazy day trading stuff. That's not what I came in here to do. I might grow into that as I get a little more experience, but I'm happy to have some money vested in crypto now, and I've got my strategy working. So in terms of the week in crypto, that's all I kind of want to tell you. If you want day-to-day episodes on what's happening in the crypto market, I can recommend Crypto Bobby's channel on YouTube. Crypto Bobby is awesome. His name is Rob, but his channel is called Crypto Bobby, and he does daily videos in the crypto space, really goes in detail in the market, and he does a couple of weekly happy hours once or twice a week where you can actually ask questions and stuff like that. So I highly recommend you subscribe to Crypto Bobby's channel for your daily crypto updates. And for me, I'm more sharing kind of my experience. I really wanted to dive in deep these last few weeks, but like I said, starting next week, we're going to move on to other topics, and then I'm going to start to segment this show out. As I cover more topics, I'll be able to do a more traditional kind of broadcast show every week where I can cover various topics for shorter segments each time and then occasionally go into depth. So what's coming up next? What's coming up next is the USI Tech scam update. Okay, I know you've all been waiting for the USI Tech update, and a lot has happened since I made my video last week. So the first thing that happened, let's go over to the USI Tech login, and I'll show you what happens when I log in. Last week I showed you this note that dropped down, and boom, now there's a new note. USI News from January 24th, 2018. That was just yesterday. Okay, now Horst Jicha, however you say his name, is the founder of USI Tech. I saw an interview on YouTube with him that I didn't find very informative. You know, the funny thing is with these network marketing companies, there's a lot of butt kissing that happens between people and the founders, and it's like a ritual, okay? When you get in network marketing, you have to kiss the founder's ass. And, you know, no disrespect to anybody, but the interview that I saw with John Smith and Horst Jicha was just a lot of ass kissing and not a lot of information. And Horst didn't even have his camera running on the interview. And of course, he said that it was because he had a faulty signal and he wanted to make sure that the audio was good. I think that he didn't want his video on because he didn't want people reading his body language. Of course, I have no proof or evidence of that, except for everything that's been happening with USI Tech and all the shady stuff that's been going on. So again, you know, the jury's still out, but when it comes to these interviews of ass kissing and like not showing your camera and continuing to blame distributors, which he actually did again in the interview, I just have to start this segment with calling some bullshit. Okay, so let's get into this important news from USI Tech that came out yesterday. Dear customers and business partners, the USI Tech corporate team is constantly working on the continued sustainability and success of the company, and we are delighted to formally announce that we are re-entering the North America, US, and Canada market with immediate effect. Okay, that's big news. USI Tech customers in these jurisdictions will now be able to buy BTC packages and continue to enjoy the benefits of our product. We are also working closely with our corporate lawyers to look at ways of resuming commission payments and continuing the referral commission for our partners in North America. In the meantime, new customers can be recruited in North America, but provisionally no commissions will be paid until a suitable and compliant solution can be found. Okay, in other words, here's a little commentary from Yogi Ev here. Keep recruiting for us, but we're not going to pay you commissions on the customers that you refer. Okay, great company. Keep referring, but we're not going to pay you. All right, excellent, Horst. Of course, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take my time and my effort and maybe some money, and I'm going to recruit for you, and you're not going to pay me. Excellent. Okay. The following applies to all sales partners. The rebuy commission is currently adjusted so that USI Tech can rebuild reserves and to avoid any further manipulation of our compensation plan whilst we complete our extensive audit. I'm going to get into that. The company's investments are strategically placed for medium and long-term returns, giving the company a sustainable platform to operate from in order to fulfill our claim of being a leading company in the crypto space. Okay, let me unpack that, because the only thing that actually matters from a legal perspective is that they're not paying commissions on rebuys from people that you recommend into the business. So if you referred people into the business and you got a commission payment when they bought their packages, and then you got an ongoing commission payment when they rebought their packages, they are no longer paying those rebuy commissions. And they're saying so they can rebuild reserves. And so that's just where it is now. I'm not going to comment on it. We don't know if that's going to be true or not until it plays out. So that's all I know. Let's keep reading this letter. The situation arose due to a system error that remained undiscovered for only a few days. Unfortunately, it was possible for some sales partners worldwide, especially in North America, to professionally manipulate the USI Tech payout system. Funds in the 3-digit million range were unjustifiably withdrawn. We are seeking legal advice as to what action to take under criminal procedures to bring the perpetrators to justice, as the damage they caused could have had severe commercial ramifications had USI Tech not had the financial strength to recover. We have been humbled by the commitment of many USI Tech top leaders who have worked closely with us to help stabilize the USI technology reserves, which will also help us achieve the fulfillment of our mining contracts. With the fulfillment of these contracts, we will embed further stability to our company, and by May-June 2018, USI Tech will actively boast an impressive 600 petahash of Bitcoin mining. We have already invested a great deal of capital in this market and will continue to do so. That will further de-risk our product for the safety of our partners' customers. This will also give USI Tech partners and customers a global lead in future technology and command the best strategic partners to ensure the most favorable commercial terms for our business, giving us greater margin and success, making us a market leader in the network marketing arena for all of us to enjoy and benefit from. Okay, now that paragraph doesn't really say a lot. It says they're going to actively be Bitcoin mining, which could be good news because it doesn't seem like they've been Bitcoin mining. And maybe that was one of the big concerns, is that they were doing a Ponzi scheme. So they were either using the money from token sales from their ICO or new members coming in to pay the older members. And now they're saying they're going to be actually mining Bitcoin. So I never saw any old USI Tech information that talked about mining Bitcoin. I had heard they were doing some Ethereum mining, but I never heard they were actually mining Bitcoin. So that could be a good indicator. The priority for USI Tech, the letter goes on, is the controlled payout of the BTC packages for all partners and customers. The second priority is the controlled payout of commissions, meaning there is no further manipulation of accounts. Transparency is important to USI Tech. What those paragraphs say, controlled payout, what Horst was saying in the video, is that he doesn't want to open up the wallets and then all of a sudden everybody just pulls all their money out because they're paranoid that they won't be able to get their money, so they'll take it all out at the beginning. He said he's going to put some kind of a restriction or limitation into how much can be withdrawn, I think daily, and to somehow preserve the reserves in the USI Tech so it doesn't break the bank, in other words. Here it says, USI Tech has never had a problem in the USA and Canada. The authorities have been active solely through misconduct, false statements, and unauthorized marketing activities of local distributors, which is detailed in the corresponding memorandum of our corporate lawyers below. I will open that in this video. The USI Tech compliance team has been enhanced to ensure we stay compliant and to police any further manipulation of accounts with a strictly no-tolerance policy. For you and for us, it is important to communicate faster and better with each other, and there will soon be an internationally valid and legally compliant presentation of the business opportunity, as well as a professionally managed corporate social media presence. None of your questions will remain unanswered, as USI Tech are committed to investing in exemplary communication, compliance, and customer support. Okay, so what that sounds like is that they say they've had a problem with the way that some of their distributors are marketing their companies. So it sounds like they're going to come out with actual materials that are going to be used in marketing the company, and they're not going to leave it up to all the independent distributors to tell the story. They say they've created a family atmosphere. We're strong together. Now's the time to go to work and build your USI Tech business. Again, build your business by recruiting customers and not getting paid for them. Calling bullshit, okay? We already saw that stab, so I don't need to play that again. But let's open this legal note, okay? Because I just want to read this from the actual lawyer, okay? So This is from Jonathan D. Herpy Sr., a shareholder in Hart David Carson LLP. That's a law firm representing USI Tech. This is from a couple of days ago, and the letter starts, Mr. Jicha, per our conversations, USI Tech Limited has asked this firm to draft the present memorandum detailing the current state of USI in the United States, the issues presently affecting business development in the United States, and the primary concern with future involvement and business in the United States. Okay? As you're aware, USI is actively involved in an ongoing regulatory matters in the following states: Minnesota, Washington, Texas, and Hawaii. Counsel at HDC is actively engaged with each of the aforementioned states and is working to identify the principal state-based issue, resolve said issue accordingly, and attain any and all necessary state-based qualifications and or licensure. Okay. This being said, it can be stated without equivocation that the primary objection posted by each state revolves around the marketing techniques employed by USI members when holding public demonstrations and or marketing USI over the internet via video or blog. So basically the letter's saying, again, that it's kind of the distributor's fault, that they're using marketing techniques that are not kosher for USI, and that seems to be the problem that sent everyone over the top and made USI have to stop, okay? Second paragraph here. Additionally, it appears to be a widely held stance among the various states that but for the marketing techniques of USA Canada-based USI members, USI could develop a pathway to full regulatory acceptance without tremendous issue. This being said, the issue of regulating and monitoring USI members' marketing techniques remains an outstanding matter that must be addressed prior to any consideration of re-entry into the U.S. market. Okay, that's important. I would advise that the USI employ a system of internal regulation and vetting process specific to reviewing proposed marketing scripts, marketing sales materials, and USI corporate documents. Okay, that is the three big things right there. That means that right now and up until now, USI has not employed a system of internal regulation and vetting. That means that all the USI corporate documents that have been released to now have been unsatisfactory. Going on, secondarily, the issue of account review, auditing, and oversight in North America remains a consistently troubling issue. From the statistics and figures observed by our firm, it appears that the USI system specific to North America has experienced an inordinate number of auto-generated and or falsified accounts. Additionally, BTC package buybacks specific to these accounts seem to be a presently unregulated issue that has resulted in a quote-unquote, parentheses, currently potential loss of USI funds. Okay, that's what I was talking about before, where Horst Jicha said that some of the distributors had basically drained USI funds and they have to now restock those funds. The lawyer letter is saying that these dummy accounts and buybacks has resulted in a potential loss of USI funds. Do you understand the difference between a currently potential loss, that means something that hasn't happened yet, versus something that already happened? Okay, so the reason I'm calling attention to this and shining a light on this is USI said that their accounts were drained by some of these, unsavory marketers doing these buybacks and these fake accounts and stuff like that. The lawyer's own legal letter calls it a currently potential loss of USI funds. That means, yes, it could currently be a potential loss, which means if they didn't shut off those wallets, then maybe they could have drained all that money, okay? So it's not like 100% bullshit that it may have happened, but I don't know that it already happened. And so if we're trying to figure out if we can trust somebody and what somebody says, what they say should match what the lawyer letter says and what he is saying about what happened at USI doesn't exactly match what the lawyer letter says. So I'm just red flagging that, okay? Again, this seems to be simply a matter of members exploiting the internal network functionality of USI in order to create duplicated accounts, and upon creation, utilizing these accounts and others held by the same member to execute BTC package buybacks at a limitless rate. Again, from the statistics and figures observed by our firm, it appears that the primary culprits appear in North America. With this in mind, we would advise that USI, again, employ a system of internal network checks and balances that would require additional and/or increased know your customer, KYC obligations, along with strict policies in place that, if violated, result in temporary or permanent banishment. Yes, that's a good policy. Again, I would advise that these measures be employed prior to any consideration of re-entrance into the North American market. Moreover, until such time as the USI back office can determine the legitimacy of each North American account and perform an internal audit regarding BTC package buybacks, the consideration of final account payouts should be addressed with caution. Okay, that means that they're being advised not to let people cash out their full account until they can figure out if the account is valid or if it is a dummy account geared to game the system. Okay, so as much bullshit as I'm calling, that actually makes sense. Okay, and like if you're running a company and you don't want people draining your funds with dummy accounts, so I kind of understand that. Doesn't necessarily make me feel very confident, but it makes me feel a little bit better that they actually are following a procedure. So here we go. In closing, let us be clear that we continue to interact and communicate with each and every state regulatory body and or commerce department in order to ensure USI stays within the law or actively endeavors to alter its conduct in furtherance of adherence. Okay, that means that USI has not been really following the law in a lot of states, and that's why it had to shut down. And now they're taking active measures to either stay within the law or what it says, actively endeavor to alter its conduct in furtherance of adherence. That means that USI Tech has been acting illegally, and now it's going to do better by trying to act more within the law. Okay, it's very important that anybody who is giving USI Tech all the benefit of the doubt and kissing the ass of the founder and buying all the bullshit that's being called about blaming all the distributors can zero in on that particular sentence from this law firm that's representing USI Tech that themselves is saying that USI Tech is going to endeavor to alter its conduct in furtherance of adherence to the law. Okay. That means USI Tech, you have not been acting in adherence with the law. So stop saying that you have been. Okay. It's bullshit. Stop lying to people. Okay. You fucked up. Now you've got to do better. Okay. That's the truth. All right. So just get to the truth. All right. Now, here is the end of the letter. This being said, but for the hardening of internal regulatory procedures imposed on the members, that means unless USI creates new policies and practices and checks and balances, sort of, then what the lawyer is telling them is that USI's battles within North America will be constantly fought from a less than optimal position. Okay, you know what that means? It means clean up your act and issue clear marching orders to your distributors, or you're just going to be dealing with the same thing over and over and over again, okay? Okay, so we're here back in the USI Tech dashboard, and what we're looking at here is my 25 active packages, right? And then you'll see that they did what they said. They split the money in the wallet between BTC package return and current commission. Okay, and what they said is they're going to stop paying commission on referrals, but they're going to pay the commissions that were due up until January 5. So this commission is from my one registered member that bought some more packages right on January 5, and that's the commission for that. You'll notice that you can't take this money out. There's no wallet button. There's no withdraw or anything like that. But what you can do, you can now place an order. Now, I've got a decision to make here. Check this out. If I go to place an order, now this was missing for the last couple weeks since they shut this off, and now it's back on. First of all, token packages. This is where people buy their tokens, and it's kind of like the ICO. Even when I was actively buying in BTC packages and telling my friends about USI Tech, I always kind of felt like tokens were kind of bullshit. I definitely personally would never buy USI tokens. Okay. I would never purchase another package from them out of pocket. And I want to get into that a little bit, because I'm going to show you the cloud mining account. We're going to go back and do some Bitcoin cloud mining. And I think at the end of the day, cloud mining is more lucrative than these BTC packages. And had I known about cloud mining when I first started, I probably would have skipped over this USI Tech thing entirely. But check this out. 0.00545556 BTC for a package. And it's telling you the same thing, right? It'll run for 140 working days. That's Monday through Fridays, excluding holidays. You're going to get 140% return on capital, about 1% per day per payout. So my 25 packages have been running, and there's only 0.0072, let me look at that. 0.0072 times like 11,400 or something is what Bitcoin is right now. So that's $82, right? Now I'm $1,600 into USI Tech. So basically we're looking at about a month of income, and I've done some rebuying, and we're looking at $82. So the question that I have is, if I'm going to make about $80 a month for the next 6 months, that's not going to be $1,600 at the end of the day. So I'm very curious as to whether or not I'm actually going to see my 140% returns. Now, of course, the 140% is the number of Bitcoin that was spent. And then if the value of Bitcoin goes up or down, the dollar amount will go up and down accordingly. So the real question is, am I going to get 140% more Bitcoin than I put in at the end of these contracts? And I really don't know. Time will tell. But the issue is, what do I do with this money? Do I let it accrue here and wait till they put the wallet button there and then just take my money out and keep taking it out and hope that it's going to get me my principal back? Or am I going to take kind of a higher risk and reinvest this money into some rebuy packages? It's not going to commission my upline. So, the only issue is, will I ever get this money back? And if I reinvest it, will it pay out more? This is where you guys are going to laugh probably, but I think I'm going to reinvest this money. Even though this might be a scam, even though I've called bullshit, even though I called Horst out on blaming distributors and not being authentically taking responsibility for things that even his own lawyers say that the company needs to do, which is actually act more compliant in some of these states than they have been doing. Even though I've done all that, okay, it doesn't mean that I'm not willing to take a risk. Like, I already think my 1,600 is gone and I'll never get it back. So I'm kind of playing with Monopoly money and just pressing buttons and numbers here, because I really don't expect to get this money back. If I get it back, it'll be a pleasant surprise. And if I could get more than I expected, then wow, what a pleasant surprise that'll be. So let's play some Monopoly, okay? I'm going to go into these package options, and I'm going to place an order and see how many packages I could rebuy for the money that's in my account. Okay, I'm going to use my USI Tech wallet. Again, I don't advise anybody come into this space with money out of your pocket and buy anything from USI. But if you're already in there and you've got wallet money and you could do a rebuy, what the fuck, you know? So let's see, if I go 2 packages, 3 packages, it goes back to 2. Okay, so I can buy 2 packages with my balance, and this would be 0.01117138 Bitcoin, about $127. But again, it's not coming out of my pocket. It's monopoly money that I haven't seen, that I never thought I would get back. So if I buy this, then I'll have 27 packages tomorrow, right? So let's do that and just see what happens, right? I'm making these weekly videos. We'll see what happens. So great. I have just package order approved. I've bought 2 packages, and there's the grand total. So I'm going to keep you posted on what happens with USI Tech, right? I think it's probably been a scam. If they're retooling and they're trying to be more legit now, maybe going forward, they'll be less of a scam. But you know, if USI Tech is going to pay 140%, right, on their packages in like 6 months, all right, then how would that compare, say, to cloud mining, okay, which is a year contract? In the first video of Evan Talks, you'll see a description in this, in the description of this video, you'll find a link to that. I went into this HASHFLARE cloud mining and how to set up a contract. And I haven't actually been here in my dashboard since I made that video. So when I made that video, I had a 2.02 terahash rate, and I had the automatic reinvest on. So every day I've been buying 10 more gigahashes of hash rate. You can check this history right here. On January 9th, I started with 2,000 gigahashes. That's a 2 terahash contract. And then on the 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, see how every day I've bought between 10 and 20 terahashes, gigahashes of extra power. So here it keeps going 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10 down every day, up until even including today, the 25th, right? So if I go back to the dashboard now, we can see that I have a 2.18 terahash hash rate. And then over here, remember I spent initially $440 on that contract. It was not a very big buy-in. And the revenue forecast over the course of the year tells me that it's going to generate just over $1,000. Now that number changes a lot, because you see this Bitcoin number here. That number changes a lot too, because the Bitcoin mining difficulty, as that changes, you get projected either more or less Bitcoin that you're going to make. And then depending on the Bitcoin price at the moment, it's going to be worth more or less, right? So funny thing is, when I first bought this 2 terahash contract, Bitcoin was, I think, up over $15,000. And the revenue forecast told me I was going to make like $1,400 in the year from my 440. And that just seemed awesome, right? Now Bitcoin has tanked down, 10,000. Now it's back up 11 something. The mining difficulties increased a little bit. And now, even though I have more hash rate, 2.18, the revenue forecast is down to like $1,000. Okay. So it's really important that nobody gets kind of like slot machines in the eyes and, you think you're going to make billions of dollars here, right? It is a good investment though, because whether or not Bitcoin crashes, whether or not it's 1,400 or 1,000 or 900, remember what I put in. I put in $440, and this is running for a year. And if you can take out Bitcoin every day, so I'm going to reinvest for like 6 months, and then sometime around July, I'm going to start withdrawing this money every day or every other day. And at the end of the year, I'll count how much I've taken out, and it'll probably be something around this revenue forecast, right? So where else can you double your money in a year? It's a great investment. So I want to show you something else too. Like, someone called me and asked me if I could go into what would happen with a higher hash rate. And I'll do another video. I'm going to do a series of videos, not for an official Evan Talks show, but they'll be kind of bonus videos. And they're going to be how-to videos, how to set up at Coinbase, how to set up at Binance and KuCoin, different exchanges, maybe how to play with the calculators and buy more terahash rate, and gauge profitability on higher level contracts. But let me show you something right now. I have a buddy, I call him Crypto Scotty. I tried to get him on for an interview. He's a little shy, he didn't want to come in, but he did give me a screenshot of his mining contract. Okay, now I have 2.18 terahashes. He's got 200.5 terahashes. And if you look at this revenue forecast, it looks like it's going to bring in like $150,000, almost $151,000 this year. Now, again, those numbers change day to day from what I explained before. But a 200 terahash rate contract would probably run in the neighborhood of, let me see, you know what? Let's not guess. By hash rate. And then you see this slider. So it only goes to 100, right? But if we go to 100 terahashes, that's $22,000, right? So if you wanted to buy a 200 terahash contract, you'd be talking $44,000, right? Which forecast at the end of the year would probably generate about $150,000. Do you see what I'm saying? Bitcoin cloud mining, in terms of investments, seems to pay more than even the 140% returns that USI Tech talks about. We're talking like 200 or more percent returns. Again, nothing's guaranteed. I'm not advising you to do this. I'm just saying if I was made of money and I had my 1600 right now, instead of going into USI Tech and buying 25 BTC packages, I would have easily come in here and bought a cloud mining contract. Let's see, if I had $1,600, how much terahash could I buy? Right? I could buy 7 terahashes for $1,600. So I would absolutely do that. Do you see what I'm saying? And I hope that's helpful to you. So I don't want this video to go on for so long. There's one more thing that I was going to cover, and I'll do it very quickly. Every week I try to answer some questions on Quora. And somebody asked an interesting question the other day. What advice would you give someone who has $350 invested in Bitcoin? Diversify or keep it all in one of the primary coins, that's Bitcoin, Litecoin, or Ethereum? If diversifying, since it's a fairly small amount, how would you spread it across, say, Binance and KuCoin? Now, I mentioned these things before, these exchanges, Binance and KuCoin. Check the description of the videos on YouTube. You'll see links to try all these exchanges. I appreciate you using my links. That kind of helps me. If you buy anything after you use my links, I might get a little commission payment, and that basically helps me monetize my efforts in sharing this information with you. So thank you. Now, what would I tell this person? 350, it is not a lot of money. And here's the way to think about it, right? Let me change this to a year, okay? It depends when you invested, right? If you put $350 into Bitcoin when it was $19,000, then it doesn't matter whether you stayed in Bitcoin or whether you went into Ethereum or Litecoin. You've lost half your money, okay? If you put it in the other coins, it's going to be pennies you're talking about, give or take. And if you're going to diversify, again, it wouldn't matter. Like if you had bought in, you know, when Bitcoin was down, you know, in the 2000s or in the, you know, less than 1,000, then it doesn't matter what you would have done either. You would be making a ton of money right now. Okay. So I know that's an overly simplistic answer. My answer on Quora had to do a little bit more also with saving fees on some of these trades. But basically what I've done is I've diversified mostly in these really cheap coins like penny or sub penny coins. And I have a couple of those where I've spent maybe 250 to 400 and something dollars on each, and I've bought, tens of thousands of coins, 40,000 coins in some cases, and hoping that one of those coins is going to go up to $1 and I'm going to make 100 times gains. Do you see what I'm saying? In the meantime, though, you have to be willing to lose it all, because like Red Coin, for instance, which is a penny coin that I have heavily invested in, has dropped a few points since I invested. So it was only a few $100s, and I feel like it's okay if I lose it. It's not going to break the bank. And if it goes through the roof, it's going to be a huge gain for me. So what I would recommend, and also for you to know, Binance, KuCoin, they all charge fees to move these coins on and off the exchanges. And in some cases, those fees can make it too expensive to even realize the gains on a trade. You can lose money on the fees, or sometimes the price that you see, for instance, like Bitcoin is listed at 11,324, but if I actually wanted to buy it, Coinbase would charge 11,409. So they have a different rate for buying and selling, and between those and the fees, it can eat up some of your gains. The other day, I had gained a lot of money on one of my coins that I invested in, but it was on the Yobit exchange. And when I went to move that off the Yobit exchange, it was going to take such a large fee that it was going to drain almost all the coin that I had of that particular coin. So it made no sense to diversify in those cases. I think diversification, it's going to maybe protect you from a big loss, but it's also going to shield you from a big gain. So I think if you're working with very small amounts of money, I would kind of recommend that you put them and hold them in possibly one of the smaller coins that has a potential to make more of a gain, because it's easier for a penny coin to go to 10 cents than it is for a $10,000 coin to go to $20,000. You see what I'm saying? So think about that. I hope that's helpful to you. Well, I think that's it for this week. We've covered a lot of material. Next week's going to be a very different show. You're not going to want to miss it. It's not going to be super technical, geeky like these last few have been. It's going to be super, super cool. I really appreciate you guys signing in for this. I'm going to post new videos every Friday night to my YouTube channel. Please subscribe, share my videos, like them, hit the notifications bell so you'll know when I come out with new videos. There's going to be a new show every Friday night on the YouTube channel, and I will also be coming out with some of these bonus videos, how-tos and stuff like that. So thanks for coming to Evan Talks. This is Yogi Ev signing out. I'll see you next week. Peace.